Hey everybody, I'm Ethan.
I'm Ryan.
This is the Magical Express,
where we bring the Disney magic to you.
Well, everybody, as we've mentioned previously, this is a huge summer for Disney movies. And within the last week or two, we've seen a lot of new trailers, seen some movies go through the box office, kind of see how they ended up, and have honestly gotten some news about movies that are still pretty far out, but a lot to talk about.
All right, with the Toy Story talk already seeming to be fading a lot within the Disney community, we're already on to the next thing.
A lot of them.
This week we got a brand new trailer for the Mulan movie coming next year. There's been bits and pieces leaked from on set, different logos and things like that over the last few weeks, but this is our first real look at the movie. It's about 1.5 to 2 minute long trailer and really gives you a nice understanding kind of the feel and the vibe that they're trying to go with, I think, for this new movie.
I would say the big two talking points that I've gotten from the trailer is the lack of a character and the lack of a Mulan staple, which is Mushu appears to be gone. From everything I've read, unless it's some big surprise, it looks like they're switching it for a phoenix, right?
Possibly. I think more than anything, it's probably just moving away from the character entirely. I think we might see maybe some homage paid to the character in the movie, but I doubt we'll see anything quite like it.
And the second big absence is apparently a lot of the music's going to be gone. And at least for me, when it comes to remembering Mulan, especially as a kid, I remember more of the music than I do the movie. Which is not to say the movie's not great, it's just to say how good the music is.
Right. I think this is going to be a much more serious feel. I think they're going to stick a lot more to the traditions and the looks of the times that this movie is set, and really focus a lot on the war surrounding the movie. I think there are some that might deem the original Mulan slightly culturally insensitive in some areas, so I think they're really trying to take it serious what they're doing, and I think this is going to be a product that is going to be different than a lot of people anticipated, but more than likely for the better.
So the next big piece of Disney movie news is the casting of Ariel for the upcoming Little Mermaid. So they went with Halle Bailey, who we've actually, oddly enough, seen perform live. She opened for Jay-Z and Beyonce. Quite a concert, but back then, never would have thought a thing of it. And so they made that announcement to a lot of people's surprise. Don't want to go into all the craziness going back and forth surrounding that topic, but I do want to at least nail this down. She is an incredible singer, and I think she's going to do great.
Yeah, she and her sister performed together. They performed at the Grammys this past year. If you haven't seen that video, definitely check it out. But she is an insane vocalist. I think Disney got a great pick with this, and I think to me the biggest surprise was that they're already this far along in putting the movie together. We knew The Little Mermaid was in discussions and in the works, but to already be looking at casting the movie, I think this movie is just a little more advanced in that staging than I anticipated. So that's exciting for us.
Definitely caught me off guard when I saw that they made that announcement. Yeah. Just because there's so many Disney movies happening right now, I hadn't even taken the time to look that far, but super exciting news.
Also, if you're on Twitter, you might want to give Terry Crews a follow, because he right now is campaigning to be King Triton,
and I'm all
for it. He's definitely built for it, but he is posting all sorts of doctored photos, and it's been really funny, so definitely check that out. In addition to some other news we've received this week involving Mulan and The Little Mermaid, we're T-minus a week and 3 days-ish out from recording from the brand new release of The Lion King. And we are super excited. We've gotten more trailers in the last week or two. We've gotten cast photos. We have officially heard Beyonce Carter speak as Nala. We've heard Donald Glover speak as Simba. These are big moves from what we've seen in the earlier teaser trailers. Not much to be said right now because we're not to the movie yet, but man, the hype is real, and I am hoping that it's as good as the hype that it's built.
And what I love, and maybe I'm too optimistic, taking too much out of it, but the cast of the movie seems so excited about it. And they seem 100% happy and bought in, and just seeing them interact on social media about how excited they are gives me hope, because again, famous people watch Disney growing up too, and hoping that if they're on board, happy with how it turned out, I think we're definitely in for a great movie.
And contrary to the route that they're taking with Mulan, this does seem to be sticking really close to the source material. So that's music, that's scenery, that's characters. So if you're at all a fan of the original, buckle your seatbelt. You're going to be in for a trip.
I think we'll love it. Well, finally, the last thing we're going to talk about is movies that have already come out and how they're doing. And so dating all the way back to Aladdin, we kind of saw a movie that was supposed to underperform, and it actually exceeded expectations. It had a great turnout in the box office in terms of money brought in, well exceeding expectations. Mm-hmm. Following that up was Toy Story 4, surprisingly underperforming. That honestly caught me a bit off guard. Maybe that was other movies coming out around the same time, but it didn't quite live up to what it was projected. But, and again, this next one isn't fully Disney, it's like a weird hybrid.
Yeah.
But Spider-Man Far From Home was incredible. As a movie alone, we loved it. It was great. But in terms of the box office, apparently the world loved it even more because it is just kicking butt right now.
Yeah, it's
breaking
really
records.
Well. And it had really big shoes to fill. Coming in behind Endgame, not to mention Into the Spider-Verse was not released that long ago, and it's still very fresh on everybody's minds. Netflix was smart and added Into the Spider-Verse like 2 weeks before Far From Home came out. So that was very fresh on people's minds, but man, this movie is something special. It really deals with the fallout of Endgame really well. Peter Parker is just the lovable kid next door that we all know him to be. And man, it really sets up where this world is going in the coming films. It was excellent.
And Kevin Feige even said this film is the actual close to this phase.
Right.
They're like, Endgame obviously feels like the big climax, but the way that Far From Home ends really is kind of the bookend to this storyline, and I don't think they could have done it any better. It actually is competing with Endgame in terms of opening weekend box office numbers.
Which is insane
which
to think
is
about.
absurd for a Spider-Man sequel.
Yeah.
So Disney's got to be thrilled. Currently, the rumor is that Tom Holland is on board for potentially another 6 or 7 movies in whatever capacity that is. But at the end of the day, Disney's got to be pretty happy with how the movies are turning out. All right, everyone. Well, that's it for our Disney movie news. Obviously, there's a lot coming out. When Lion King comes out, we're already getting excited to do a review on that. We're going to go back and watch the original. Be looking for a potential collaboration with someone else in the YouTube community on that one. But we love movies. We love Disney. And we're always going to be excited to talk to you about that. And with that, I'm Ethan.
I'm Ryan.
This is the Magical Express.